Alright, so much in Ginger Bear. Um, yeah, see what we can do. Like I said, it's not a roast or anything, man. I'm going to try to give you all the tips that I can. Anything. I'm not super good at Lucio, but I am a Diamond 3 support, so um, I will mostly probably be giving you just general gameplay and tips and stuff as opposed to character specific. But I do a little bit. It's start it's something that's hard about Lucio in bronze is getting your team to play around it so much. There's most of his value comes from his speed boost, right? Um, so your main job is to speed in and speed out your team's engagements, which is why it's um, essentially until that happens, yeah, and then you just need to recognize when your team is going in and when your team is going out. So right now, like, would be a time where your Sigma's pushing in here. This would be a time to be, right, he's being aggressive. This is a time where you need to, like you need to be aggressive here and speed. Also try to avoid general spam and then yeah, speed your team in as your Sigma. That's the main thing I'm gonna say is if you're playing Lucio, like you need to recognize when your team's being aggressive and when they need to get out. That's the two main things. Is switch to speed when your tank is moving in and when your tank is moving out. Also, don't be try to be very careful at least of being up here. I know you have your shield, but you can see it's about to break. You just being this close is generally not great unless you're really diving hard into their team and going after if you were like back here and you were trying to help like target this soldier with him, like then that would be fine to be up here. But otherwise, it just it makes you an easy target, and you're very squishy compared to your Sigma. So just be careful of going too far up. And again, yeah, just should be speeding in here, speeding in because they're all backing up, and you want to get your Sigma uh, to continue the pressure. Yeah, because like here, where are we going here? Like here, I think you amp up your heals here, but your full health, your Hanzo's full health, your Cassie who's not over in your um he's not in your circle, right? Is full health pretty much. I mean, but he wouldn't get affected by it regardless. But definitely just be working on speeding more. I think is definitely what I see so far. Just definitely like it's a huge part of Lucio's kit. You want to be speeding as much as you can. Granted, it's hard when like a Mercy is your other support. You don't have much healing output. But like here is where you want to actually switch to healing just to make sure everybody is full. Yeah, that's good. So you guys kept the point. That's good. It's fine to be, yeah, definitely staying on speed for this, just in case your Sigma wants to get around the corner. He does that faster, so this is good. Again, just be careful of peeking out when being the front line with your tank, right? So this one was a bit strange. I think this is the main thing for Lucio, right? Like if you were speeding them in right now to engage, this would be a great amp it up, right? Because your team, you could come around the corner, you could keep pushing them back, but you're healing them, and again, they're all at full health. So I think just pay attention to your amp it up cooldown because this is like a very long 12 second, 12 second, I think. 12 second cooldown. It's yeah, it's good you're pushing the ball out. Um, yeah, so as a general rule, and again, this is not nothing like, oh, this is crazy bad or anything. Just giving tips as I can, right? Because I want you to be able to climb, and this is, don't feel bad about these things. Uh, I think you were trying to get your Sigma saved, which would have been great if it hit in time. It didn't hit in time. It is what it is, right? And then you just want to be. So now that your tank is dead, though, you want to be like leaving the fight, right? Because their tank generally, like, as a good rule for fights, is if your tank is dead, then you're going to lose the fight. Like, it's like, even with the Mercy Valk, there's not much you can do, especially with this minefield sitting between you and the other team, and the Moira coalescing into here. The move here would just be to speed out and try to get your teammates to follow you, and just regroup with your tank when he respawns. So yeah, this is going out as good. Just try to speed your team out then, since your team ended up dying. And again, I think this is another one I don't like. No one here is injured on your team, right? So there's not really any point in amping this up. I'd just save that for your tank coming back and then use that to engage on speed. Yeah, just be a little aggressive sometimes with being in front of your tank is all. And again, just be careful, because you see how there's 3 people here, 4 people actually, that could be shooting at you right now, and you're the only one. You're walking out past your Sigma's barrier. Um, just so your Sigma is essentially like the front line of your team. Generally, your tank is going to be the front line for your team. So, like, you want to be, unless you're coming to confirm a kill, say, like, your Sigma was, here, and they had someone off flanking over here that was, like, really low, and you wanted to chase them, that's like, totally fine. Like, that's good to go in and, like, try to confirm the kill. Otherwise, generally, you want your Sigma to be your front line, and you don't want to be, especially if his barrier is here, like, you could just be sitting here just perfectly fine and shooting them, right? Like, you don't need to be hit behind him here just because his barrier is full health, but peeking out here is just a good, it's a bit risky, because then their whole team is kind of looking at you at the moment. Yeah, this is good. Just, yeah, keep it on now speed to push your Sigma in. Your Sigma's pushing up. You If you die to this, there's not much you can do from the junk tire. Right. So that's good. Yeah, it's a good job just getting out of the way. Yep, just stay behind the wall. There's not a whole ton you can do. Um, yeah, so at this point you've lost the fight. There's no point to really, like, ulting is generally to save your team from an ult, or either to go in to engage the other team and just dive them with overhealth. Just as a um general usage for it. Although I guess she did res your Cassidy, so that's actually fine. But I thought you only had 3 people here. I mean, 4 is doable, but you're still kind of just on your way out. Alright, so here would be a part to amp it up, right? So I think the main thing that I would say that is probably holding you back is your usage of like amp is you're generally using it right when you're low or when nobody's like when everybody's full health. But now that you're like your Sigma is critical here, you're half health, right? Your Cassidy has taken a bit of damage. Here would be a perfect time to amp your heals and really like keep everybody alive, and then try to after your amp it up is done, try to speed boost out because um like I said, like the two times that you want to use speed boost, right, are either engaging or disengaging. And so here you want to probably just since your Sigma's low health, like either amp up your heals or amp up your speed boost. Probably want to amp up heals first and then switch to speed boost. Your heals, like without amp it up, do basically like very very little, which is why like if you're disengaging a fight, it's better just to stay on speed boost as opposed to healing. Just because it'll get your team out faster because you're not going to out heal like, oops, wrong button. The coalescence that's coming here. Right here, like this is not something that you can out heal. So it's something that like just because like you could heal a little bit and then just try to speed out so that you can get out of range of the coalescence and like the rest of their team, and then you'll just have to deal with a Hammond at that point. I mean, there's a good chance that your team just gets rolled regardless. Like, and then your Sigma ults for so like your Sigma does this too, where like he's using his ult right, and the fight's already lost, which is a bad habit that people just fall into, right? So he gets a kill here, right? But even if he kills both of these people, like it's just him at half health and the Hanzo against like their whole team, right? Like so now he's sitting here for 1v4ing and he just used his ult, but like he can't capitalize on it because and now he dies and just or he doesn't die, but he could have died there if the ball kept pushing him. Um, so again, that's not something that just like like oh people are just using their ults after fight, like just new like a lot of people do that, and that's something that even in higher ranks like I'm in diamond and like there's still that still happens, right? Like people will ult in lost fights and whatnot. Like generally climbing is just simply like at every rank, like a big part of what people's holding them back is just like making too many mistakes. Like I make a lot of mistakes in my games that I'll even do something and feel it and be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and it's a lot of gameplay and climbing is just trying to minimize mistakes. I'm gonna look at your Moira. My biggest tips for Lucio would be speed boost your tank when they're engaging or disengaging. Um, Use amp it up either when you want to be really aggressive or you need to get out really fast, or when your team is like or if you're on healing, use like your you use amp it up on your heals only when your team like really needs it, right? Because generally like Lucio is an off healer, so he's not like a main source of healing for your team. um so I would just kind of more play that way because like his whole ability of his kit is to use speed boost for engagements and disengagements and just to chase down like and finish off picks if like squishy characters are low. So just I would recommend trying to use that a bit more. um just because that's kind of like he's not built to heal, I guess. So his amp it up is like good for healing, and also like I mean you're playing Sigma, so Sigma likes to kind of sit and like poke at the enemy team from range, right? So if he's doing that, that's fine. But when he starts moving forward, then it's a good time to like start, and you can kind of like switch on and off. Then like your Sigma's pushing in, you speed boost. He's sitting and he's just shooting at the enemy team from a distance. Then like you just heal and then so you can kind of swap back and forth is fine. And I know you play a little bit of Moira in this, so I'll take a look at that as well. think it's pretty fine, for the most part. Just definitely want to turn and heal your team. So like here would be right, so like here you'd want to fade over to here instead of back. You'd want to fade to your team so that you can heal them right here. Instead, you fade across this like you're invincible, so you can just go across the lava to them, but then you put yourself out of range for them. And then you're just spraying. Actually, this might not be some. I'm not sure if you realize this or not, but your spray has like a range on it that's not that long. So when you're spraying this isn't able to hit them. And you can kind of see like how far that's going. That it's falling just short of them. It's good to be healing there. Yeah, we definitely want to walk away from the bastion. There's nothing you can really do about that. Like if like you can't. There's some things you just can't out heal, right? So like your Sigma jump landing in the mines, like it's not on you. Like it happens. Um, Yeah, and so after this fight, I think I would realize like, okay, my team's we're not really focusing the Hammond, right? So I would honestly tend to like ignore him. Like he rolls out of your face, just ignore him. Like he's not doing a whole ton aside from distracting people. So I just kind of focus on like healing your team and trying to hit squishies. Yeah, I would not flank this bastion. Yeah, so this is you should definitely like you're the primary now at this point. You're the primary source of healing for your team and your team. So if your team is over here, then you should generally be around your team. Um, like if you find someone out of position, like definitely you can jump on them. Like if there's like a solo squishy up here, but coming up here, like you're in uh their territory essentially for this game. So as Moira, definitely try to stick around your tank a little bit more. And again, this is like no part of this is intended to be like a roast or anything, but this is just like things just to think about when you're in game. Like there's like there's always stuff to improve on, and it's not supposed to be like I'm not trying to harp or anything. Like I get these reviews done for me that people do, and I'm doing in diamond, which is like 4 ranks above this, and like I still have things that people are picking apart my gameplay. Like I just have different things I'm doing wrong. Like that's really all that Overwatch is just finding things that you're doing wrong, improving on them, and doing things better. I mean, there's always things at different ranks, so definitely don't feel bad when you're hearing things. Because I know that was something you had mentioned of like not wanting to get roasted, and this is not at all a roast. Like I'm not saying you're playing bad. I'm not saying like anything about your gameplay here. It's just simply like here's things that you're doing that you could be doing. Here's some things that you shouldn't be doing, and then like everybody on your team, I guarantee you, I watch anybody on your team, I could make like equally right, like just equally as long videos, just picking apart their gameplay. Like everybody here is in bronze. Like there's things there's things that everybody has to learn. There's things that everybody can improve on. And even if this was grandmaster, like there's things I wouldn't see, but top 500 players could look at any grandmaster player and even pick apart their gameplay and say there's things that they're doing wrong. But some like um definitely respect Bastion, I would say, is one thing that you could be doing in this game more too. Like this is good that you come with your tank, right? But then your tank like leaves this room because he sees the Bastion. So this would be a time where you also back up, right? And just stick with your tank here. Because yeah, Bastion has like I'm not sure what his entirely what his damage output is, but it's very it's like one of the highest, if not the highest in the game. Again, like you guys, right? Like you guys lose this fight regardless. It doesn't matter what you do in this, right? Like your team is going to get rolled. So like right here would be a great time. All right, as your tank's going in to pop coalescence, right? Because your ultimate like you have this close, right? So they're pretty much on top of the right because the payload's right here and they just need to get into this square. So this would be the time to pop coalescence and be trying to hit their team and your tank because this is last fight. Like if you lose this fight, there's no point in having your ultimate, right? So like for Moira, yeah, I think the main thing is yeah, stick with your tank, which I think you were doing a lot better towards too at the end. Um, I think it was a tough game to win regardless. Um, like your team it didn't really seem to know how to deal with Bastion and whatnot for a lot of it, but um, yeah, so a couple things, yeah, obviously stick with your tank. When you're playing, so this is the concept that I was trying to talk to you that I probably should have explained is like main supports and off supports. Um, main supports being like Ana and Moira and um Baptiste and Kiriko's kind of either way. And then off supports being like Lucio and Brig and Zenyatta that have like really lower healing, and then like the other ones, obviously the main supports being healers. So that's your role is somewhat defined by who you choose. So if you're playing someone like Moira and you're looking to climb with her, then healing is going to be like a bigger part um of your gameplay. While someone like Lucio, that's an off support, like their value comes more from utility, being like his speed boost and his boop. Um, so like again, these are not supports that I play entirely too much, especially Lucio. I'm just not very good at Lucio. But Moira, I played a good bit when she had first come out, and then I play her as more of my like she's really good at deflect or like dealing with hard to hit like flankers like Genji, or like if someone's playing like flank Lucio, or like small targets that are like I'm gonna struggle to hit before they kill me. Like if they're really just jumping all over the place, then Moira is kind of my go-to for that. So I do like she's a very good at killing squishies, not so good at killing tanks. So that's kind of like dealing with that's why I said like with the Hammond, like you don't have a ton of DPS. Like she's not a very quick at killing people, but she is very good at killing at consistently hitting damage on them. Um, so like trying to take the Hammond, like it's better when he leaves than to just like kind of go back to healing your Sigma and focus on your team and the enemy team. Um, playing against Hammond is hard because yeah, I mean just playing against a dive tank in general, because yeah, you do have to be switching back between like dealing with him and then like dealing with his team and then like making sure your team is up. So it can be a difficult thing to get used to. Um, so yeah, hopefully this helps. Like again, like I hope this wasn't too much. Definitely just yeah, focus on using speed boost as Lucio in and out of engagements. Use amp it up to either engage or disengage quicker, or only make sure that you're paying attention to what your teammate's health is at when you're using amp it up if you're going to be on heals. Otherwise, yeah, like using heals is also fine at times. Like if you're just at a point where you're not really like pushing into neither team is really pushing into each other, then like it's always okay to be on heals because like just healing off, like you don't do very much healing, but you can it can still help, like, take whatever spam damage your team is taking, like it can, like re-heal that, and then just, yeah, speed boost for engagements, and then for ultimate, just, like it's hard to do sometimes, because sometimes, like with your Sigma, I think you generally tried to save him, but sometimes it's just, with the activation animation of it, like it will sometimes people, it just happens to be late. You tried to save him, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it just doesn't happen in time. Same thing like when I play Ana, and sometimes I accidentally nano the wrong person trying to save them, and and it's, it happens. Like, you just, at least you tried. Like, just don't let that, like, get you down, because I let that get to me sometimes if I nano the wrong person or whatnot. Like, I feel bad about it, but it's just part of the game. Like, mistakes happen. It is what it is. Um, and then, so yeah, hopefully this helps. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Um, yeah, and good luck to you on your climb.